Hey there, welcome back to The Magic and the Music. I'm Jen. Today we're going to be talking about how to get the exact Disney Vacation Club reservation that you are looking for. Okay, so the first thing to think about is if we're talking about 11-month booking window versus 7. And a lot of you, if you're already DVC members, you'll be familiar with this. When you are booking at your home resort, of course, you can do that at 11 months out. And these strategies are going to work mostly the same for 11 months versus 7 months. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to make the assumption that you have already booked something at your home resort and that you are now trying to switch and move over to a different resort that is not your home resort at 7 months, because that's what most people are trying to do when they're trying to get these tough to get rooms. If it's your home resort, you have a pretty good likelihood of being able to book those, but for the most part you'll get something at your home resort at 11 months, as long as it's not the absolute busiest time of year. Okay, so we're going to get started with our tips to make the 7-month switch. So the first thing is that you need to set realistic expectations for yourself. Now, you might say, well, how do I know what's realistic? First of all, there are all kinds of great resources online. You can read different, DISboards is a great one. Mouse Owners, there are lots of different websites. You can join a group and you can kind of ask about availability. Some people have created some charts that are bouncing around out there on the internet. But I think the most reliable thing is to just get on the website and start looking around. Look at room categories and types you're interested in and start searching for them. And you can actually hit the little triangle and open those up to kind of see like what's the ebb and flow of that room. What is the demand for that room type in relation to the other room types at that resort or versus other resorts? Which ones, what is the pattern there? So you can really pick up a lot of that information by just kind of perusing through the availability. Keep an eye on it and you'll really get to know the rooms that you like, what the trend is for them. Okay, my next tip is that you need to have a plan for what you're going to do. So you go ahead and book your home resort at 11 months, something that you would be okay with staying in if you couldn't change. Then if it's a popular time or a holiday, you might even have to get on the computer right at 8 a.m., right on the nose and like get in there and book the thing you want. So in most cases, that will get you what you want. If it's not a super in-demand time, you can probably be a little more relaxed about it and do it later. But personally, I like to get it done the day that it opens up so that it's done. I know I've got a place to stay. I am good to go. I also highly recommend setting an alert on your phone so that you don't forget, especially if you have multiple vacations that you are kind of booking at the same time. So it's really good to set up those alerts for yourself so you don't make any mistakes. Again, as you're approaching that 7-month window, you're going to want to kind of watch the availability trends. It'll be really clear to you that the room type that you want, it will be clear whether it's just looking like it's going to be wide open or if it's just completely gone and you don't have a chance, or if more likely there's maybe some patchy availability and so you may get it, you may not get it. So just keep a close eye on that so you know kind of how difficult it's going to be as you come in. Also, it's really important, again, with having a plan, have a plan A, plan B, plan C. Really know if you can't get what you want, what's your next choice, because that one might actually be available for you. If it looks like that is getting booked consistently, you are going to want to be up at 8 a.m. Eastern on the computer. I say up because for me on the West Coast, it's 5 a.m. So I have to actually really wake up early. But those of you on the East Coast, it's 8 a.m. So you'll want to be on the computer before that, logged in, ready to go. And if you are changing your 11-month booking, you're actually going to be in there modifying your 11-month booking if you choose to use those same points for the booking. So just be ready to go, and then you're going to jump right in and try to book that room that you want. Keep going through the process, because even if it doesn't show it as available, that's your opportunity to create a wait list. And the order of the wait list creation matters. So you want to go ahead and move all the way through that process and create your wait list right then. Then I would jump on over to my number 2 choice and continue and repeat the process. My next tip for getting the reservation that you want at Disney Vacation Club Resort is to think about a split stay. Now this of course will apply only to Disney World because there are all these different Disney Vacation Club resorts there. So we love split stays. We do split stays every single Disney World trip that we take. Ever since we took our first one, we were like, this is it. We love it. We're going to do this every time. It's so much fun to be able to switch between different resorts. It makes it feel like, for us, more than one vacation. Now, if you live close enough to drive, this might not be an issue for you because you might spend a weekend and then you're done. But we live on the West Coast, as I mentioned, and we have to fly out. So the travel time eats up a lot of time and resources. So we really want to get the most out of our vacation because we can't do them quite as often. So we will tend to take a longer trip, but then we'll break it up into smaller segments that are at different resorts. Why does this make it easier for booking? Well, because it's much, much easier to find 3 or 4 consecutive nights at a resort than it is to find 8 or 10. So it really opens up a lot of options for you. And also, sometimes you want to stay at a more expensive resort for part of the stay and then a less expensive resort for another part of the stay. And it makes it more affordable for you to do that. Our next tip for getting the reservation that you want is to use waitlists. They are a really, really great tool, and you get to have 2 waitlists per use year, really. We have 1 use year. All of our contracts are on 1 use year, which means we only get 2 waitlists, but that's okay because we've really had a lot of success with those. If you have more than 1 use year, you would actually get to have 2 waitlists for each of those. We have had a lot of success with waitlists. However, there is a strategy to how you want to use your waitlist. So you really want to be strategic about how you use your waitlist. So a lot of people will just I think they squander their waitlist. This is a great opportunity. So you need to think about it. You actually want to think about what is the greatest statistical likelihood of getting a room. So I'll give you an example of how you would maximize your opportunities with a waitlist. If you were looking to waitlist a Bay Lake Tower room, a studio, for example, look at the room inventories, and there are several websites, and I can provide some links in the description as to where to find this. I'm just going to read off my list here. There are 16 theme park view studios, only 16. There are 30 standard view studios, and there are 101 lake view studios. So which one of those do you think you ought to waitlist? What is your likelihood of getting your waitlist to come through? Obviously, you would choose to waitlist the Lakeview Studio because there's such a larger inventory. Now, if you get the Lakeview Studio, yeah, go ahead and waitlist a different category if there's a different one you want. But you really want to be strategic about that because in your mind, you need to know that they do not all have the same quantities of rooms. And the same thing goes with all kinds of different room types. You really want to be armed with information about how many different rooms there are of the category and room type that you want so that you can make a really wise strategic choice about how to use your waitlist. Our next tip is to continue to check availability. Even if you had to create a waitlist for your stay, keep checking back. It's kind of infamous for having rooms pop up that you have a waitlist for and they suddenly show up and it's like, what? Why is this room available? I'm supposed to be getting this. I have a wait list. And for whatever reason, the system is not perfect and sometimes things will just show up. If you see it, by all means, grab it. Even if you see a couple of nights of your wait list, you can, if you have the points, go ahead and grab those and hang on to those. This leads to another topic that sometimes people wonder about. Is it possible to hold more than 1 reservation simultaneously? Yes, if you have the points available. So that's something else we've done where we might have a whole stay booked in one location, but we'd like to add in a segment of our stay somewhere else. And so we grab a couple of nights that we see and then we kind of piece together that stay, but we don't want to release the nights that we have because we don't know yet if we're going to be able to get all of the nights that we need. So if you have the points available, you could actually book a couple of duplicate nights and then you can try to waitlist, maybe some holes in the middle. If you are able to do that and get kind of a string of nights as separate reservations, DVC Member Services will actually go back and thread all those together for you. If you find them as separate rooms, by all means grab them. They can connect them back in together into one reservation, and we've done that a lot of times. Okay, I'm going to talk about something that makes some people kind of mad. It's kind of controversial. Walkers. I'm talking about DVC members who book rooms that they don't intend to use. What is walking? Well, the practice of walking a DVC room basically is booking the room earlier than you intend to use it, and then over time, gradually moving your reservation forward and dropping days at the end of the reservation. And this is a strategy that some people use if they want to book a room at a really busy time when it's difficult to get. And walking can be done at 11 months. It can be done at 7 months. The disadvantage at 7 months is that if you are booking at a resort away from your home resort, any owner at that resort could theoretically disrupt your walk by booking that room. But most of them generally do it, closer to 11 months, 10 or 11 months. So that can happen. And it's kind of a risk you run if you are going to walk at 7 months. This practice is pretty controversial. Some people feel that it's really unfair. Some people are very, very strongly against this practice. Technically, it doesn't violate any of the DVC rules. So it's really up to you whether you feel that it's okay to do or not. One of the reasons that people get upset about this practice is that they feel that it's blocking people from the dates that they actually want to book. And sometimes you'll be in a situation where you can actually see the walking happening in the booking patterns, where something will be unavailable and then suddenly those dates will become available on they'll trickle along, and you can see that someone was walking the reservation and freeing up those dates gradually. How do I feel about walking? Well, I am not totally anti-walking. I think if it's used sparingly, it's kind of okay here and there, but it should not be used extensively. I think it's something that should just be saved for like a really special occasion or a rare occasion, let's put it that way. I think it should be rarely used, and certainly not for long lengths of time. Again, like most things in life, if we all used it sparingly or not at all, it would not be a problem. Now, if everybody starts walking all their reservations, it's going to be a big problem. So I would not recommend it, and quite frankly, most of the time it's not even necessary. So I think it's helpful to know what it is so you can understand and participate in conversation about it, but again, it's not really something I would encourage. So our bottom line stance on walking is try not to use it. If you must use it sparingly, be courteous to others, don't use this all the time. Okay, our next tip on how to get the DVC reservation that you want is, if you simply must be at a certain resort or your trip is ruined, you need to buy that resort. That's where you need to own. And that's how people like us end up with multiple home resorts, because there are some resorts we just love and we want to be sure that we can get in there, so we have contracts there so that we know that we can get part of our stay at that resort every time. Okay, there is one and only one surefire way to make sure that you get the exact Disney Vacation Club reservation that you are looking for, and it is called a guaranteed week. Guaranteed week is an option that was introduced when they opened up Aulani in Hawaii, and it's been carried on through Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Copper Creek, and Riviera resorts. You can purchase a guaranteed week at any of those resorts if you purchase directly from DVC. Now, if you're buying on the resale market, you're not going to get to choose a guaranteed week. However, every now and then you'll see a contract come up on the resale market that has a guaranteed week. It actually came with it and it remains that way, so you can purchase one that way. But again, that's pretty rare. You don't see these very often. Most owners don't actually have these. So what is it? Basically, it gives you the option to buy a contract for a specific week of the year, and it goes Sunday to Sunday, and they number out the weeks, so they tell you like which week it is, and you pick that particular week, and DVC automatically books you for that week in a specified room type. You decide what room, and of course it's at your home resort, and so they will automatically book it for you. Now, the premium that you're paying it's 10% more. You have to have 10% more points to book it than what it actually is on the points chart. So the system is going to automatically book that room for you every time. That is a little bit more like a traditional timeshare, but the thing that's good about it is that you have the option of opting out of that room. So if you decide this year we're not going to go at our normal time, you can cancel that reservation and you can free up all those points, and then they're still available for you to book anything else that you want with them. So it's for a lot of people, it can be a really pretty good deal, especially if you like to go at a really busy time. Yes, it is possible to add on additional days or to remove dates, cancel, modify that reservation. So anyway, that is your surefire, definitely going to get this reservation way to book with Disney Vacation Club. But do most of us do that? No. No, that's a pretty small group that actually has guaranteed weeks. And if you're worried that Disney's going to sell all the weeks up and so then you can't get certain weeks in certain rooms, don't worry. It is actually capped at 35%. So once they get to 35% of a certain week, there can't be any more guaranteed weeks for that room category. That's a lot to take in, right? Generally speaking, you are going to be able to book a lot of great reservations with Disney Vacation Club, and hopefully you've chosen a home resort that you really love and that you're happy staying at, because occasionally at very busy times of year, you might actually end up at your home resort and not have the option of switching. All right, so get out there and book your next DVC stay. I know you won't regret it. And armed with these tools, I think you're going to have a great stay that you will be really, really happy with. If you have other tips or tricks you want to add about booking your ideal Disney Vacation Club reservation, make sure you add them in the comments below. And also check out our other videos. Our channel is full of videos about Disney, music, Disney Vacation Club, and family fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.